Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
Hello friends, welcome to Ganesh IAS Academy. This is the new session conducted by the Ganesh IAS Academy. It's purely for the upcoming mains exam. Here what we are going to do is we are going to discuss about the previous year mains UPSC questions. So the question is, what is the status of digitalization in the Indian economy? Examine the problems faced in this regard and suggest the improvements. So first you need to understand the question. The question is all about digitalization. Next is the keyword here is examine. So you need to know what is examine, which means if you have any sickness means you go to the doctor and the doctor will examine you. So which means examine means it is like integrate, okay, it is like investigate. So investigate the issue, okay, investigate certain things and find the issue. That is all about the examine. So here, what is the status of digitalization in the Indian economy? So that is the first part of the question. Next, examine the problems faced in this record. This is the second part of the question. And then suggest the improvement. This is the third part of the question. So this question have the three sub questions. Okay. So you need to address in such a flow only. So first is, what is the status of digitalization in the Indian economy? This is the first part. So you need to know about the certain data about the digitalization of Indian economy. So there are a lot of data. I listed certain things. India is the third largest digitalized country in the world, only behind the US and China. Okay, and next data is according to the state of India's digital economy report by Indian Council for Research on International Economic Relations, which says that India is better than some developed countries in digitalization. But the issue is, when it comes to the individual users, India is ranked 12th in the terms of digitalization. Okay, so these are the certain data you need to quote, because the question is all about what is the status of digitalization. So they are purely asking about the data of that digitalization. And then there is a huge growth in the digital payment. Okay, the using of the UPI transaction is increased in India. So these are the certain things you can quote it. Other than that, okay, consider that you don't know anything about this thing. Okay, but I need to address this question. What can I do? Okay, so here the answer is, you can say that increases in the internet user. Increases in the smartphone using. Okay, the smartphone penetrations is increased. Or else the internet penetration increased. There is a huge reduction in the rural urban gap related to the internet using. So you can quote that thing also. They are asking about the status of digitalization in Indian economy. Okay, so you can generalizely can answer this question. If you don't know any data means, you can say that increases in the internet user, increase in the smartphone using, and also even the rural areas are now using the internet. UPI transaction is reached in the rural areas also. So you can quote that also if you don't know any data. But it's better to have certain data in your answer. That will enrich your answer. That is a more important thing. So this is the first part of question you are addressing with this and this. Okay, next, examine the problem faced in this regard. So this is the second part of the question. So what are the problems? First problem is like digital divide. data price hike. Second is unequal access. And then the third is digital illiteracy. So these are the points. This is the first point. So there is a huge digital divide when it comes to the Indian economy, because recently Jio announced that they are going to raise the prices related to the data, internet data, and also consider that there is a laborer. Okay, he is a daily laborer or a street vendor. So if there is a, if he needs to spend 200 to 300 rupees for a data recharge for a month, means how can he can able to do that with the minimum earnings of his day-to-day activities? It is not at all possible. So that will leads to the digital divide. So in reality, nowadays internet is also becoming as a essential one. It's like a food and clothing. Data is also becoming an essential one. Without a data you can't learn certain things. Without data you can't be in a financial inclusive society. So you need certain internet access. If it is not there, means you are going to be affected. So nowadays even data is also a essential thing. In that scenario, if they are going to increase the data price, means that will leads to the digital divide. This is the first major concern. So you have to give this point. So it is one of the most important point, you can quote it. So digital price hikes, data price hike is a leads to the digital divide. So problem faced in the digitalization means, if they are going to increase the data price, means that will obviously reduce the digitalization in India. That will definitely leads to the reduction in the digitalization activities in India. Next, unequal access. Still there is an issue with accessing the internet in certain remote areas. So there is no tower established in certain rural areas. Based on the minimum users, they are not establishing it. So that is leads to the unequal access. That is also going to create a digital divide. And then digital illiteracy. Even though they have a smartphone, they have an internet, they don't know how to use this data wisely. So that is also the major concern about the digitalization in India. So this is the first point. Second is cyber attack. So ransomware, and then internet phishing, malware activities. So there are a lot of things that is also affecting the digitalization in India. So this is the second thing. And then third point is inadequate infra. You can quote it. You can easily quote that inadequate infra in any questions, because India have that issue. Okay, so still we have the issue with power supply. Tower need a power supply, continuous power supply. Okay, and also you can say that the tower is going to run based on the diesel engines only. So the diesel price is going to increase, means that is also going to impact the digitalization. So there is a somewhat connected thing. Okay, and also you can say that still there is a unskilled laborers related to this jobs. Communication field. So you can say that these are the major problems. Next, suggest the improvements. That is the last part of your question. So what are the suggestions you are going to do? Okay, so it's about first there is a two way of answering this thing. You listed certain issues, you just give the suggestions in parallel to it. Okay, so that is one way of answering. It will be more easy to answer the question, or else you can go with the normal way. Like what I'm going to give a suggestion is depends on the persons, it will vary. So my suggestion is increasing the active participation of TROI and Competitive Commission of India. If they are going to have active participation in this telecom network, means that will reduce the monopoly activity, that will reduce the data hike, the price hike. Okay, so and then you can say that increases the infras. Okay, third thing is, in that Essential Commodities Act, incorporated data also one of the essential commodity. This is also a suggestion, because nowadays data is becoming a one of the essential thing to survey. So you have to use the internet to access your banking activities. So for a financial activities you have to use it. Even for a healthcare things you can use it. Internet is nowadays it is like a knowledge pool also. Without internet you can't update yourself. So these are the things need to be changed. Okay, so these are certain suggestions you may give. At the end, you just conclude it with, there are huge growth in the internet penetrations and the smartphone usages. So the government's active participation in this sector is more needed. This is one way of concluding it. So by the way, you can conclude this question. And please note it, is even though it's 10 mark question, that question needs this much of answers. This is the more important things you need to note. Okay, thank you.